Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. It is Tia. In today's video, we are making a smoked Gouda and jalapeno sourdough bread. I'm really excited to make this bread. I haven't made a sourdough with add-ons in forever. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. But before we do, I would like to show you my starter. This is her 2 days of being fed, really yesterday. And then today, she's good and active. I measure out our ingredients. You know I do like making it in the KitchenAid mixer now. I have my kitchen scale. I'm gonna go ahead and transition and put everything in here. What I am gonna do, I'm going to take my bowl and go ahead and tear it out. And we'll start adding our water and our mixture. All right guys, I am using a 100% hydration starter. That means I have equal parts flour to equal parts water to equal parts sourdough. That's what I like to use. I don't really like tamper with my hydration level too much because I'm not there yet. With that being said, can you believe that we have been on this sourdough journey now for a year? Go back to the beginning of my sourdough playlist and you will see where we started with my starter. Then I bought some tubes for sourdough and we've had some ups and we've had some downs. My first loaf of sourdough was not the best, but we have grown, we have gotten better, we have experimented. I know my environments that I'm making it in. And let me tell you, my starter is a year old. I actually left for work for a little while. I'd say about 5 months or so. I stuck it in the fridge, came back, added some water and flour, and she was good to go with no issues. Now, if you watch any of my sourdough videos, and I highly recommend that you go back and watch, essentially, I use the same recipe, unless I'm making like a sandwich loaf or I'm making rolls or something. So I'm starting with about 350 grams of water, 225, 230 grams of sourdough starter, and I'm adding about 3.5 cups of flour. Now, I did add a little bit too much water to this and my starter was already well hydrated. You will see that I go through and I actually add flour throughout this process because it's very sticky, which there's nothing wrong with that. I'm telling you, it is really hard to mess up sourdough. It's probably the most easiest bread to make. That's what I stand by. But we're just gonna go through, mix it till it's well combined. And I think this is the last time that I'm actually adding flour to it. And then I'm gonna actually transfer it. Okay, y'all. So I just told you I've been doing this for a year. And you know, I bought some things. So I have like the Danish mixer or whatnot. And then I have like the rattan bowls to like let it rise in. I do not have like a bread proofing box. So what I use is this popcorn container that we got from like dinner and a show. This year, in 2025, I am going to invest in a bread proofing box. Not only for my sourdough, but just when I make bread in general, it's easier to see it rise that way. And you can see it rise in a glass bowl. You can see it rise in this bread proofing box that I have. That's fine and dandy, but I am going to invest in one. I'll probably go on Amazon and find it, or I might go to King Arthur because I love King Arthur. I've loved King Arthur for years. Now, as you'll see, as I'm doing my stretch and folds, you know I like to go from under that way. That's my new way. I told you guys that in a video not too long ago, but look at how sticky my dough is. It's very hydrated. I do end up adding flour as I'm doing the stretch and folds, and I'm okay with this. The bread turns out just fine, spoiler alert, okay? But maybe if you're not comfortable with working with sourdough or anything, you add a little bit more flour so that it's easy to work with and that you can do your stretch and folds most easily. I like doing the stretch and fold because I think it gives me a nice denser crumb. It smooths it out. It helps the gluten really develop. And that's all the things you're looking for when you're doing your stretch and folds. Now you can go from under to over, but I prefer this way. And I don't see myself going back anytime soon. And another thing about having a very active starter is as you're doing the stretch and fold process, because you wait like 30 minutes between each stretch and fold, it is already starting to do its bulk fermentation. If you look closely, you can see the bubbles on mine and it's doing what it's supposed to do. But we're just gonna do 3 sets of the stretch and folds before I transfer it into the proofing bucket that I'm going to use. Look at how sticky that is. But you know what, I don't have an issue with it and I promise you the bread did come out fine. I have been thinking about doing different types of inclusions. The blueberry lemon loaf that I made before did not turn out the way I thought it would. I think I need to use more lemon because the lemon just wasn't there. But what else have I made? Did you guys see the cinnamon French toast I made out of sourdough? It was delish. And fun fact, this smoked Gouda and jalapeno sourdough that I'm making is actually my husband's Valentine's Day gift. That's why the video wasn't posted last week, because I wanted to make sure that he got it first. And someone was like, that's not a Valentine's Day gift. And I was like, one, it is an act of service. Two, he loves my sourdough bread. Three, he's going to be the only one who eats it. So it is a Valentine's Day gift because it's the thought that counts. And I think there's nothing better or more heartfelt than like a homemade gift. So this is the bucket that I was talking about. And like I said, we got it from Dinner and a Show, and it serves its purpose. What I'm going to do next is just take some saran wrap and cover it so that everything stays within. And I'm going to stick it in the microwave overnight. And then I'm also going to mark the level, but wait till you see the end result of this. There's really no need for me to mark the level because it did what it was supposed to do. It is the next day, and this is how much it's risen overnight. See, it has a nice dome. Already floured my surface. So I'm actually gonna break this. Oh wow. It's pretty sticky. I'm actually gonna break this into 2 loaves. I'm not gonna lie, usually it just falls out. I hope it's not overproofed. I had every intention into making this into 2 loaves. I was going to use 1 loaf so I can make more French toast sourdough, or more sourdough French toast, I should say. And then the other loaf was going to be the Gouda and jalapeno loaf. But I decided this is my husband's loaf. I'm going to make the whole thing for him. And that way he has more to eat throughout the week, whether he wanted to just make toast or have sandwiches or whatnot. So I did end up making this into 1 loaf, which is an easy fix. You just put the sourdough back together. And then I'm going to go ahead and stretch it into a rectangle, and I'll start adding my inclusions of jalapeno and Gouda. Now when I did cut my jalapeno, I left some seeds in because again, this is his bread. He likes it a little spicy, so I wanted to make sure that it was tailored to what he likes. And when I'm adding my inclusions, I am very generous. Like, I am not cutting back on anything. And I just want to mention, you saw how sticky my dough was before, but you can see that it's balanced itself out and it's forming and doing everything that it needs to do. So again, I personally think that it is really hard to mess up sourdough. You just work with it, you get used to it, you learn your starter, you learn your environments. Thing that I do in my apartment, I can't necessarily do when I'm at home, or vice versa. The temperature is a little bit warmer here than it is in my house. So those are things I have to take into consideration. But again, you can see I am not skipping on these inclusions whatsoever because I want a piece of cheese and a piece of pepper in each and every bite, in each and every slice. There is nothing wrong with it, and I'm putting those seeds and everything in there. He likes spice, so I'm gonna give him his spice. And then you're just gonna roll it away from you, and then you're gonna start doing your pull and tuck type thing situation. I forget what it's called, but you can see I pull it towards me and I tuck it under, pull towards, tuck under. And then if you have a tear like I have right there, just stick it back in there and keep going. But you wanna get it nice and tight on the bottom before you stick it in your pan to actually do the cold fermentation overnight. And one thing I actually forgot to mention is I've actually seen people put their inclusions in during the stretch and folds. I'm not trying to do that, not there yet. I might try it one day, but for the purposes of how I make my sourdough, I put my inclusions in before the cold fermentation in the fridge. If you tried it with the stretch and folds, please let me know how that works out. I haven't seen any issues or hiccups when people do it. I just prefer to do it this way. I am going to preheat this Dutch oven in the oven for 425 degrees. Actually got this for Christmas. My husband definitely understood the assignment. It comes with this trivet. This is probably what I'll cool my bread on. But I love this thing. Love the color. This is such a beautiful blue. So let me go ahead and stick this in the oven. This is a extra large 6-quart. I'm gonna preheat it with the lid on, and I'll be back once it's time to score and put our bread in. So here's my loaf. It's pretty hearty. It's not as high as it normally gets, but I'm very happy with it. It smells absolutely delicious. It's a little warm right now, but we'll slice it tomorrow probably, and then I'll be sure to show you.